So, what I was thinking about, what I want to talk about today is, hey, Maddie, um, my second act assessment. I have a program that I run called the Second Act Blueprint. Second act being what happens after the age of 40-ish. I'm 53, so I didn't start changing my life really until I was 45. And I'm really a huge believer in the amazing potential of the second act, the midlife bit. So I'll come to the assessment in a minute, but when I stopped drinking, and that was 2018 now, so it's what, 8 years that I haven't drank alcohol. Um, it wasn't that anything was catastrophic or even anywhere like it really. It's just that it just everything felt a bit flat. And it's just life just wasn't really working. I had a job, of course, I had a good job, and I had that job for about 25 years, and it was fine. I didn't love my job. I didn't hate it either. It was okay. And the but I could see people around me, or people online. They did love their jobs, and I suppose even at the time, I wasn't even curious about how you could do that. But when I stopped drinking, um, I got quite quickly, actually, after about a few weeks, I got energy and clarity, the like of which I'd never ever experienced before in my adult life. And then I began to see things a lot clearer. And it was then that a couple of things began to. Uh, I'm now realizing a couple of things began to form. One was that I just wasn't living my values. Um, what was important to me. Pretty much every book you see behind me is in the personal development space, and I've been reading that stuff from since about the age of 15, 16. Really interested in that whole power of the brain, the power of human potential. But I was a software developer, which was not necessarily the opposite end of the scale, but not too far from it. So very logical, very thinking orientated, very results and kind of either very digital, either it worked or it didn't. That was fine. I liked that kind of, but I knew there was something missing. And then when I changed my relationship with alcohol, gave it up. I realized that there might be something in this uh, um, interest in the personal development space. So I trained to be a coach, and that was almost like, again, someone had switched the light on for me. Uh, so I hadn't got my purpose. I thought I had, but I had a purpose in that I was a software developer. That was my identity. I was a techie. I was a nerd, but it wasn't really. Um, so my meaning and my purpose really weren't aligned. So anyway, onward we go. I became a part-time coach for a few years, and then became a professional coach a few years ago, and really got interested in supporting people to change their relationship with alcohol, which I do a lot of now, but also laterally in supporting people to make change in midlife, which I do now as well. So I eventually got there, that I needed to make change in midlife, or that it was about being a bit flat and not living my purpose, not living my values, essentially. So really, when it comes down to it, I really wish I knew this. I really wish I didn't have to not necessarily waste all this time, but I really didn't know where I was, what needed to change, um, until I really started looking at it, and it took years to figure out, well, what was it that I was really put on this planet to do. And it turns out coaching is the thing. Um, so the second act uh, assessment that I've created recently is kind of an attempt, I suppose, to speed that up, and so that people don't necessarily have to. go through a couple of years of kind of, well, what do I want to do with the rest of my life, or where are the gaps really? Where are the gaps in my life? And maybe we can get to that point a bit quicker. So that's the reason I created it. And as I was thinking about creating it, I distilled uh, it down into a rather, I suppose, let me just back up a bit. I've created the Second Act Blueprint, which is my program, my small group program for people in midlife who want to make change. And that came out, when I created that, I created it along the lines of 6 pillars, which I've spoken about here before. But these 6 pillars are the pillars that, each week, each of the 6 weeks of the course is based on. So my assessment then, that it became really quite simple. It was reverse engineering those 6 pillars into a small number of questions, 3 questions for each pillar, that people answer. I put the link here, I put the link here in the chat, to the link to the assessment, and you get a score at the end of it as to where you are in relation to those 6 pillars. So, what are the 6 pillars? Well, the first one, and maybe even the most important one, is meaning and purpose. You know, how aligned are we with our meaning and our purpose, and how clear are we on that? So that's the first one, and that's all about values. How aligned are we with our values? Secondly, energy and capacity. Energy and capacity. As I said, when I changed my relationship with alcohol, when I gave it up, I got energy and clarity, the like of which I'd never ever seen before, or experienced before. And it wasn't as if I didn't have energy before. I did, but I was kind of just ticking over. It was almost like um, a car that needed to be serviced. I was fine. It was getting me from A to B, but there was no extra. There was no extra capacity left over. So energy and capacity, in the assessment measures, where are we with, in terms of the amount of energy we have both to live life and the amount of energy we have left over for ourselves. The third one, actually, the really, really important third one, is self-trust and confidence. Anybody who's changed their relationship with alcohol or is in that process of changing their relationship with alcohol knows, uh, for a fact, that it is not a straight line. It is never, ever, ever a straight line. When I started and got some momentum in changing my relationship with alcohol, momentum that's still going to this day, that was 2018. I knew, probably in the mid 90s, that my relationship with alcohol wasn't where I would like it to be. So I gave up for a little while, and then maybe a little while longer, and then a couple of weeks here and there. So, uh, and each time I said I was going to do X amount of time off alcohol, and each time that didn't work out, my self trust and my confidence took a little bit of a knock. So these questions in the self-trust and confidence pillar here just just give us an opportunity to check in where we are with our own self-trust and confidence, because when we do what we say we're going to do today, and then we do it again tomorrow, we rebuild that self-trust and confidence. It's probably one of, if not the biggest gift that um, this changing my relationship with alcohol day after day after day for the last 8 years has given me: self-trust and confidence. Um, Next one, connection and belonging. Um, I've always said that the most important people in our lives, that we probably have, at most, the people that who are non-negotiable in our lives, probably we can count them on the fingers of uh, 2 hands tops, maybe even one hand. And I know that to be true for me. So connection and belonging was, for me, it was about, realizing and really doubling down on who are the people that are absolutely critical and most important in my life. And that changes over time. Of course it does, as we grow and evolve. But who are they? And uh, how am I connected to them? Am I connected enough to them? And that's what that pillar measures. Um, the next one, the fifth one, is autonomy and time. In other words, probably could be said in relation to, okay, how much of my time am I protecting for me? How I suppose maybe even independent am I? So because we can all fall into the trap, unless of having beliefs that I have to do this, I have to do this, I can't do X because I've got Y, which is, I'm not suggesting all of those things aren't absolutely true, but so this autonomy and time pillar that we work on brings to light some of the beliefs that maybe we're holding that are maybe old beliefs that no longer serve us and that no longer actually are true if we examine them, and that maybe we do and we can build that uh, autonomy and time into our lives so that we can use all of this newfound energy, maybe newfound clarity, and having a bit more clarity as to where we want to go with our lives, and in the second half, so that we can actually have the autonomy and time to action that and make stuff happen. And the last one, growth and possibility. This is all, I suppose, in term about goal setting. What do we, where do we want to go? Where do we want to bring the next phase of our lives? And all of so a few questions around that. So there's the assessment itself is made up of 18 questions, all of which are measured on a sliding scale. It's a slider. You slide it up and down from 0 to 10. You measure where you are. Then you get a measurement at the end, a percentage at the end as to where you are in relation to all of these 6 pillars, which is emailed to you. And obviously, and also you get the opportunity to book in a discovery call with me if you want to discuss further. And so what does it do? What does it show you? Well, it shows you where strain is showing up in your life. There might be, and there probably will be, several sections or several pillars where things are actually really, really good. And but also it will show you what needs to be worked on, so that maybe if you were to choose to work with me, either one-to-one or in our second act blueprint group program, you would know before you start where you might want to focus most of your attention. So that's the reason I created it. That's what it is. And I'm really glad I did, because, even doing it myself, I can see, where more time needs to be spent, more energy needs to be spent, and more focus needs to be spent on the bits that aren't where I would like them to be, because of course none of us are the finished article. We're always evolving, and that's cool. That's a really exciting part. So yeah, so I'm just going to post, just in case it didn't show for the people who joined. I don't know how comments work here, so I'm just going to post the link to the second act assessment there that you can use to do the assessment if you so wish. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.